Hello, Internet. It's been so long. I apologize, everyone. I missed you so much. Casey Martin, V1800. Nice to see you guys. Scarlett is eagerly awaiting. She missed you guys, too. Here she is. You want to say hi to them or what? I know. It's been so long. It's been so long. It was a rough 6 days or so, folks. All right. Go lay down. Go lay down, Mama. You know the drill. I know it's been a while. Oh, lay down. All the way. Come on. Good girl. All right, folks. How is everybody? It's been, I think it's the longest hiatus I've had since I've been streaming. I think I went a full 2 weeks, and I greatly apologize. Is Scarlett all better? Better from what? Her leg? Her leg does actually seem to be fine now. Yeah, I thought for sure she was going to need surgery. I don't take her running anymore, though. That's what I think I broke my dog. I think I just took her running too far. It wasn't even after a long run either. She just kind of started limping like crazy. I thought for sure she had a torn ACL. She might still have something torn, but yeah, she seems all better now and running around. And I don't take her on runs anymore. It sucks. I really wanted her to come on runs with me, and she likes it, but. Yeah, I don't want to break my dog. So, as you guys know, some of you guys may not. The reason I was gone so long is my power was out for 6 days. We had a nasty storm up here, but, I had a post go viral, and I wasn't expecting it to. I really wasn't expecting it to. I don't even know why I put some of these out sometimes. I just started writing. And sometimes I write things out, like really long ones, and I don't end up posting them just because I just don't. And sometimes I'm like on the verge of if I'm not going to post it or not, and then I decide to. And sometimes they go crazy. And this one happened too. So I might as well actually pull it up for you guys. Let's see. Maybe I can come over here. Yeah. All right. This is what I'll do. I'll just read the post because well, folks, it's just it's a cold game in these streets. It's getting tough. It's tough out there for a lot of people right now. Prices are astronomical of everything. Rent, I don't know how much it's gone up for you guys. Rent's gone up. Obviously, everything we purchase is going up. My utilities are out of control. I don't even understand how they can be so expensive, but they are. So my power got shut off because I didn't pay the bill. Yeah, it happened. It's getting bad. It's things are tough. Things are tough around here, but I got behind and they turned off my power sooner than I thought they would. And it was $1,300 to get it turned back on. That was for 3 months. So I got 3 months behind and they shut it off. $1,300 though for 3 months. I have a 500 square foot place, less than 500 square feet. It's tiny. It's just me and 2 dogs. Yeah, I know. I'm a crazy dog guy. How the heck was my December bill $450? It's out of control. It doesn't make any sense. Also, my house is built just the way California likes it. It's all electric everything. I got an electric stove, electric hot water heater, electric heat, and there's no wood burning stove in here. So if the power goes out, it's cold. It gets cold. That's that's the situation. So the day before the storms, my power went out for non-payment. I had a few grand hit my account in the next couple of days, so I just had to go a couple of days without power. The thing is, right when I paid it, like the second I paid it, there was a storm that came through and it knocked out the power for my whole neighborhood. My whole neighborhood was out power even after I paid it for, I think it was 6 days straight. And it sucked. It always sucks, but it wasn't. I mean, last year we had crazy storms and the power got knocked out, I think 3 different times for multiple week periods. It sucked. It was really bad. And my generator stopped working, so it was no fun. But I don't know. I don't want to call it venting. It was more trying to say. I don't even know what I was trying to say. I was trying to sympathize with everybody and say, look, I'm in this with you guys too. Like, I'm struggling a lot too. And that's why I'm running. And I'm one of you guys. I'm not a politician trying to do this. I'm trying to enter the arena to represent us. That's what I'm trying to do. And I guess that's what I was trying to make clear with this post. So I guess I'll just go ahead and read it. So, all right. So yeah, I wrote this and it went super mega viral, and I don't even know why. It's kind of a longer one. You guys know I like to write the long ones. So here it goes. I'm currently sitting at my house with no power due to lack of payment. I'm 40 years old, and this has never happened to me in my life. It's embarrassing to admit on the internet for the world to see, and I'm not proud of it, but it is my current reality. I can pay in a few days, and I'll be fine, but please walk with me for a moment, if you will. I apologize to those of you who've heard this story before, but I feel like it's necessary to recap the last year to explain what I'm currently doing and why I'm doing it. On February 2nd of 2023, I was fired for refusing to wear a mask. This happened on a residential construction site where the homeowner did not currently live. It was a 5-story, multi-million-dollar home overlooking the Palace of Fine Arts and the Golden Gate Bridge in Pacific Heights of San Francisco. I'd been on the site for months, and there was no mask mandate. They all of a sudden decided to impose one, and I refused. This got me thrown off the job site and fired. I made a video about it, and it went viral, and Tucker Carlson's booking agent ended up contacting me. I ended up on Tucker the next day with my lawyer and now friend, Tracy Henderson of the California Parents Union. Since then, I seem to have become completely blacklisted from my career of 18 years in audio, video, residential, and commercial. I work directly for some of the top tech executives in the Bay Area, names you know, and for these same tech companies as well. Now I've been turned down to be an apprentice tree climber. I've been turned down for entry-level technician positions at dozens of AV companies. I was turned down for an AV supervisor position at a local Christian organization recently. I was even refused a job as a grocery store clerk. It has become very clear that I'm being discriminated against because of my Tucker Carlson appearance, my online presence, my opinions, and arguably my ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation. This is a major problem, and it goes against everything I was taught as. This is a major problem, and it goes against everything I was taught was right, being raised as a Californian by a Californian. For evidence of that type of discrimination, just look at Mark Cuban's admitted hiring practices. For the same reasons, I've decided to run for California State Senate. Something has gone very wrong in California, and people behaved very poorly the last few years. Medical freedom has disappeared. Ethnicity, sex, and sexual orientation have become factors when hiring. Gender ideology is being taught in schools without parental consent. Boys are being told they can become girls, and they're being allowed to compete against them in sports and share their locker rooms. Crime is through the roof. Drug addicts and homeless are everywhere. Fentanyl dealers can deal openly on the streets. Citizens have been disarmed and left unable to defend themselves. The police can't defend citizens. Energy, fuel, and housing prices are through the roof, and all of this is because of bad policy. It's very clear that California politicians are not representing us, the middle class, and they haven't represented us for a very long time. In my recent interview with KSBW, I was asked about my lack of experience being in politics. I found that laughable. What experience would you prefer? Someone with a multi-million-dollar net worth who receives contributions from super PACs, the special interest groups, has been a career politician for longer than I've been alive, and has voted yes on every bad policy mentioned above? Or would you prefer a California native, middle-class tradesman who sacrificed his entire career to stand up to the madness taking place in our great state? The people I'm running against will do nothing but continue the active destruction of California. If you let me, I will stand in everyone's way, and I don't care what it costs me. Let me fight for you. Let me fight for us. Vote Oxford 2024, California State Senate, District 17. Thanks for reading. So I wrote that just thinking, I would get like my regular engagement, like the regular amount of people would see it and stuff. But I don't know. I don't even know who reposted this or who made it go banana balls, but it absolutely went banana balls. I ended up on Monica Crowley's podcast talking about this. So that's one of the people that reposted this, but I don't know who else. The thing is, at the same time, like earlier in the day, you never know what's going to go viral. It's so funny. Earlier in the day, I just posted this, not even thinking about it. So you guys know, if you guys have an iPhone, you get the memories that pop up on your phone every now and then. And this one's so bad. I accidentally back in like 2017, I accidentally recorded a video of myself. It's like a 3-second video. I was like staring down at my phone and I accidentally recorded a video. Well, the angle and it was like the heaviest I'd ever been in my life. I was like 270 pounds and like the angle, it just looked horrible. I just had a big giant double chin and everything. So I actually took a screenshot of the picture just because it's like the worst I've ever looked in my life. And it pops up in my memories every now and then. And it did that day. And I scrolled through my pictures and just found the most recent pictures of me on a run. And I just posted them side by side. And here's the post. So I just posted them side by side and it said, I used to be fat, so I decided not to be. This went banana balls. This ended up getting 1 million views. That's insane. So yeah, so this silly post right here, look at my fat face. Look how fat I was, guys. This is so bad. Yep. Mm-hmm. That's me. Oh boy, look at that double chin. Man, I know it's not a great angle, and yes, I know the haircut's terrible, but yeah, that's what I used to look like. That's when I was swimming in the bottom of a whiskey bottle every night. Every single night I was swimming in the bottom of a whiskey bottle there. I was a very unhappy person in this picture. I was a shitbag disaster in that picture. And then I posted it right next to this one. And this is a few weeks ago. What's funny is I think I look younger in that picture, and I'm 7 years older in this picture, 6 years older, 7 years older. And yeah, well, that's me now. And I was genuinely, runner's high is a thing, you guys. It's absolutely a thing. If if you guys don't run, runner's high is absolutely a thing. Yeah, I was very happy in that picture. So that went viral at the same time. Tristan Tate reposted that, and so did Mike Cernovich. So, and whoever else. So that's why that one went uber viral. But that was pretty cool because Tristan Tate followed me, and whatever you guys think of the Tate brothers, I'll go out and I'll say it. I think they're a net positive for men. I will go out there and say that. Whatever past they may have, I think everybody deserves a road to redemption, but that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, so that one went viral too. So anyway, that's where I've been, guys. I was just without power and I couldn't stream. I actually the Monica Crowley podcast that I went on, I had to go to the public library to do it. I went there and I was standing outside of the public library on my phone, and the second the damn podcast starts, this dude comes out on his cell phone and stands right next to me and just starts talking super loud. And Monica had to start the podcast over. He could have stood anywhere, and he decided to stand right next to me. I'm standing there with my earpiece in. Oh, it's so annoying. All right, I'll quit complaining now. Let's see. Pure American 72. After PG burnt down my town, I lived in my RV for 4 years. Some months bill was $800 for AC. Now I rent a small house, $2,200 minimum in Butte County. That's insane. I wanted to move up there for a while. I love it up there. Yeah, I lived through the crazy fires up here too. My place didn't burn down, but it got 0.28 miles from my house, right up the hill. I mean, I could hike up to the burn line from my house. Terry Wallace, V1800, Goat Cheese, B Sizzo. Nice to see all y'all. Terry Wallace, you didn't like my haircut? What's wrong? It wasn't a good haircut. You withhold judgment on the Tates? Yeah. I don't think too many ladies are big fans of the Tate brothers, but I do think they are a net positive for young men that don't have direction. So I'll leave that there. All right. So yeah, just kind of wanted to tell you guys where I was at. Power's out for a week. Both because I'm a shitbag and I didn't pay the bill because I'm a loser. I you know what? People tell me I need to stop being self-deprecating in that way. I don't really think I'm a loser, guys. I really don't. I just say stuff like that. You're probably right. I probably shouldn't say stuff about myself like that. All right, let's get into some actual news, shall we? Let's see. Goat Cheese, what's going on? Nice to see you. All right, yeah, let's get into some actual news. So stop sharing that one. Get back over here too. And let's go to this article I came across, because this is something we need to talk about. So you guys know how I'm talking about the wokeness and just a lot of the madness that takes place in California all the time, especially in the education system. Granted, I am a coach at a middle school, and I haven't seen a lot of the wokey woke stuff. Now, it is a mountain school that I coach at. These are cross country kids, so they're naturally kind of, they're go-getters, they're fit kids. So I might be getting a certain type of kid, but I'm not. I mean, the teachers that I come across, the athletic department, security people, I'm not getting the wokety woke vibe from the place that I coach at. And it's very similar to when I was in school. Everything seems very similar. So I do think that some of this, obviously some schools are going to be worse than others, and some school districts are probably going to be worse than others. But I don't like this stuff to get too blown out of proportion. So this is actually a good article to talk about, because this gentleman is a very unique case. But we'll go over here. So this is from Fox News. Well, this is from Yahoo Life, but Fox News is who originally reported on it. So let's see here. Okay. Man, it's been so long since I've streamed that I forgot that I could do certain things relatively easily. Okay, yeah, that was good. Okay, so title of this is California teacher who criticized woke kindergarten program put on leave. And I've done some additional digging into this story because I wanted more information on it, because I found the story fascinating, because this is cultural Marxism. This entire story, I'm going to read the whole article here, and you'll be able to see, if you're familiar with Marxism and equity, all this stuff, the diversity, equity, inclusion agenda, and how this is a cultural Marxist movement. If you're familiar with all of that, it'll jump right out at you. But by the time we get to the end of the article, you should understand why I say this is a perfect example of cultural Marxism taking place in our education system. So let's get into it. And I should preface by saying this teacher is a homosexual lefty. He's married to a dude. He lives in Berkeley. He's a teacher in a Berkeley school district. This is a leftist, like not even, but the way I like, he's an old school Bay Area gay, meaning he's basically like a classic liberal in politically, like a classic liberal. Just old school Bay Area gay people aren't like super over the top trying to jam this whole agenda down everybody's throat. And I can't speak for this gentleman, but a lot of the old school Bay Area gays don't like having all of the letters lumped together. They don't like the LGBTQIA plus MNOP crap. They don't like all that being lumped together. So this gentleman is not a conservative. He is not a right winger. So I should just preface by saying that. Check the chat before I read this really quick. DC Martin, most people outside of big California cities are not crazy leftists. Yes. Well, it's even leftists outside of California, for the most part, are not crazy leftists. Like most people that consider themselves Democrats that aren't like super down the political rabbit hole, they don't realize that they've already been kicked out of the club. They just don't realize it yet. So many of these people don't realize that if they expressed views that they have, like, hey, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't be doing this thing. As soon as you disagree with the woke mob, you will be kicked out of the club. And this is a perfect example. Just let me read this article. You guys will get what I'm talking about. So a California teacher who publicly criticized his school district's investment in a woke kindergarten program was placed on administrative leave Thursday, the teacher said. Hayward Unified School District teacher Tiger Craven Neely, what a badass name, by the way. This dude's name's Tiger. Tiger Craven Neely told the San Francisco Chronicle he was asked to hand over his keys and laptop and not return to his classroom at Glassbrook Elementary until further notice. School officials told the teacher he was being placed on paid leave over allegations of unprofessional conduct, but gave no other reason, Craven Neely told the paper. We don't comment on private personal matters, district spokesperson Michael Baisley wrote in an email response to Fox News Digital Questions. He denied that Craven Neely was put on leave for retaliatory purposes or that he was being punished for speaking to the press. Okay, so they put him on disciplinary leave. So he's on paid leave pending an investigation. Okay, investigation into what? And what is he on paid leave for? So Craven Neely was placed on leave days after he raised concerns about Woke Kindergarten, a for-profit company. So this is the name of the company. Woke Kindergarten, a for-profit company Glassbrook Elementary hired to train teachers. So this company is literally called Woke Kindergarten. Okay. The school spent $250,000 in federal funds provided by a program meant to help boost test scores for some of the country's lowest performing schools, according to the Chronicle. But after 2 years, the Woke Kindergarten students' scores are reportedly worse. In a 4% drop, both areas in the last 2 years, less than 12% of the students at Glassbrook Elementary in Hayward, California can read at their grade level, and under 4% are proficient in math, according to the Chronicle. Woke Kindergarten describes itself on its website as supporting children, families, educators, and organizations in their commitment to abolitionist early education and pro-Black and queer trans liberation. Okay. That could also be translated to anti-white, anti-straight. That's what that could be translated to. The organization also has woke words of the day like ceasefire, abolish, and woke wonderings about challenging the legitimacy of the Supreme Court. So woke words of the day, and they include ceasefire in there, you guys. You see there? Are they trying to push anything in particular right there? Oh, it's so freaking frustrating. Many of you guys know my stance on the Israel-Palestine war, and it's so frustrating how leftists. I'll leave that there. Okay. The organization also has woke words of the day like ceasefire, abolish, and woke wonderings about the challenging the legitimacy of the Supreme Court and abolishing the police, money, and military. This has nothing to do with education, you guys. This is a brainwash, woke kindergarten. This is for kindergartners, you guys. They're teaching them woke words of the day: ceasefire, abolish. Okay. Glassbrook is predominantly Latino, Hispanic, and more than 80% of students are English learners. That's funny. I was an ESL tutor in college. I was an English as a second language tutor in college. The Chronicle reported some teachers complained anonymously about the funds spent on teaching children to be abolitionists. Yeah, teaching kindergartners to be abolitionists. They're kindergartners. They should be learning how to tie their shoes. Are you joking? While reading scores are low, but Craven Neely spoke out on the record. Okay. He was quoted saying that woke kindergarten trainers told him he should try to disrupt whiteness in the classroom. So remember, this is a third-party company. This isn't part of the school district. This isn't like school administrators or anything like that. This is a third-party company that calls themselves Woke Kindergarten that are coming in to do this is very similar to like when a corporation brings in diversity, equity, and inclusion officers and they do these trainings to get you to denounce your whiteness and all that kind of crap. It's the same thing. It's a freaking struggle session. They're putting teachers through struggle sessions. This is what they're doing right here. So, okay. So he was quoting blah, blah, blah. He was quoted by saying woke kindergarten trainers told him he should try to disrupt whiteness in the classroom. So this is the kicker. So what does that mean? Craven Neely said to the Chronicle. I just want to know, what does that mean for a third grade classroom? Oh, okay, third grade, not kindergarten. They just call themselves woke kindergarten. I guess he's the third grade teacher. Okay. So this woke kindergarten company tells him, we want you to disrupt whiteness in the classroom. And he says, what does that mean? What does that mean for a third grade classroom? Like, judging who this guy is, I think he was legitimately asking, like, can I get some clarification on that? Because, I'm a gay white guy and I don't really know how to disrupt that. I don't know. That's just sort of who I am. What are you instructing me to do here? Can you give me some sort of guidance? Well, he was put on administrative leave for asking that question. So not so much. It keeps going. So other teachers have defended the program, arguing that a new approach is needed since a strict focus on the academics has not improved learning. We need to try something else. Kindergarten teacher Christina Aguilera. Hold up. I need to read that quote again. Other teachers have defended the program, arguing that a new approach is needed since a strict focus on academics has not improved learning. Huh? Okay, we'll keep reading. We need to try something else, kindergarten teacher Christina Aguilera told the Chronicle. If we just focus on academics, it's not working. There is no one magic pill that will raise test scores. What are you saying? Are you saying that because test scores are low and we've been focusing on academics, we need to stop focusing on academics because test scores are low? What are you saying here? If we just focus on academics, it's not working. There is no one magic pill that will raise test scores. Well, yeah, I mean, you got to try different ways of teaching the same material. You don't just stop teaching the material. This is boggling my mind. Like, these are the people that are teaching your children. Since the Chronicle report, since the Chronicle report and subsequent national media coverage, Glassbrook has received dozens of threatening and racist messages. I'm sure they're super racist. District spokesperson Michael Baisley confirmed to Fox News Digital. Craven Neely, who said he supports discussing racism in the classroom, told the Chronicle he attempted to voice his concerns at a staff meeting on Wednesday before going to the press. He described the meeting as tense and recounted one moment when another teacher allegedly stood up, pointed a finger in his face and said, "You are a danger to the school or the community," and then left the room. Okay, so this is like, that to me is projection. It's you're standing up, yelling at him, pointing your finger in his face. Like, that's threatening, right? Standing up in front of a crowd and trying to rally the crowd around you against one person and pointing in that person's face and saying you're a danger to the community. That's a witch hunt at that point. Lady, you're the danger. Your ideology is the danger. He's expressing concerns with this woke kindergartner program that cost $250,000, and the whole point was to raise test scores and get these kids to learn better. Instead, you're teaching them that they need to denounce whiteness or whatever. This whole thing is freaking mad. Let me check the chat before I continue reading here. It's out of control. Radio Foreman, cheers. Nice to see you. Goat cheese. You know what I did in kindergarten? Finger painting. Yeah, no kidding. Like, yeah, what was I doing in kindergarten? We were just like learning how to interact with one another. Fun stuff. Playing, finger painting, getting read stories. Like, what are we doing? I guess these are the third graders. They're not kindergartners, but whatever. Okay, we'll keep going. Okay, so she pointed the finger in his face, left the room. Another Glassbrook teacher who wished to remain anonymous for fear of repercussions. So that right there, another teacher They're coming out and I don't even know what they're going to say right here. They want to remain anonymous for fear of repercussions. The school is saying that they didn't put him on administrative leave for retaliation against anything. And then you got this other teacher there. It's like, no. Keep me off the record because I don't want the school to retaliate against me too. It's like everybody knows the woke mob will come for you. Everyone knows it. It's this unspoken thing that you're not allowed to say anything negative about the woke mob. You can say whatever you want about MAGA, Trumpers, conservatives. You can call them all the worst, horrible names in the book. People that didn't take the vaccine, you can call them the worst things in the book. But if you say even the slightest bad thing about, hey, maybe we shouldn't be trying to tell kids that they can be trans. Maybe that, trans kids aren't a thing, since gender dysphoria is actually a mental health disorder. Maybe we shouldn't be trying to jam a mental health disorder down people's throats. If you say that, you will get canceled. Meanwhile, you can go out and you could say that vaccinated people should be canceled from health insurance. They shouldn't be allowed. Unvaccinated people should be canceled from health insurance. They shouldn't be able to eat inside. They should be fired from their jobs. There's this insane dichotomy going on right now. And I think Bay Area people and California people have been so just beaten to death with it that they don't even realize how much discrimination is taking place in our society right now. They don't even realize how, yes, oppressed you are. Like, whether you want to admit it or not, nobody wants to be the victim, but I'm sorry, guys, there's active discrimination taking place in California based on race, sexual orientation, political affiliation, religion, gender, all these things. There's active discrimination in all aspects of everything, particularly in hiring. Talked about Mark Cuban earlier. The diversity, equity, and inclusion stuff is inherently racist in hiring. If you are trying to fill a quota of applicants based on ethnicity, gender, all that kind of stuff, and you have to have X amount of number, well, you're inherently discriminating against people that do not fall into that criteria. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion crap is inherently racist, no matter any way you cut it. I don't know how these departments exist simultaneously in a corporation with an HR department. All this stuff is maddening. Sorry, got off on a little tangent there. Okay. Another Glassbook teacher who wished to remain anonymous for fear of repercussions from the school confirmed that a teacher put a hand in Craven Neely's face and called him a disgrace and a threat to the school. The Chronicle reported the teacher also said Craven Neely did not raise his voice, even as others were arguing and talking loudly. So he's standing there all calm, trying to just explain himself. A liberal gay guy, liberal gay teacher, just trying to explain to the woke mob, why are you guys being so unreasonable? Because he still thinks that he's not dealing with psychopaths. That's who he thinks. He thinks that he's dealing with reasonable democratic people. He's not. He's dealing with Marxist psychopaths. The sooner he realizes it, the better off he'll be. There was so much anger toward me, Craven Neely said. I was explaining my point of view. They were talking over me. He said a district administrator eventually asked him to leave the meeting. Like, he's the problem, right? It's like, this is the thing too, that the whole crowd can attack one person who's being the most reasonable person there, and he's the bad guy that gets kicked out. It's unbelievable. I was shocked. This is my school. I didn't do anything inappropriate, he told the Chronicle. I left. I was very shaky. It's like they're just beating him into submission. He's like, now he's thinking, what did I do wrong? And he's reflecting like, well, how could I have done things better? What could I have done differently? He didn't do anything wrong. This is, I hope he doesn't apologize. This is what they try to get you to do. They try to get you to bend the knee, submit, apologize, and it's never enough. They're just going to hammer you more and more. Okay, we are not commenting on what happened during the faculty meeting. Baisley told Fox News Digital when asked if the district disputed Craven Neely's account of what happened. yeah. Baisley ain't going to comment on it because he knows that's exactly what happened. Everybody got all crazy, attacked him, and then they kicked Tiger out of the meeting. Unreal. After the meeting, Craven Neely said he they keep calling him Craven Neely and not Tiger. Why would you not call him Tiger at every opportunity? Tiger is like the most badass name I've ever heard. After the meeting, Craven Neely said he received an email telling him not to report to school the next day and to attend a video conference call with the district officials. At the video meeting, he was informed that he had been put on leave pending an investigation into the allegations of unprofessional conduct levied against him. So he doesn't, allegations from whoever, just whoever, they're saying somebody complained against them, allegations of unprofessional conduct. So this school can put him on, paid leave. And like, this is slander. Well, he's under investigation, guys. We put him on paid leave because he's under investigation for unprofessional conduct. A complaint was levied against him. Like, it sounds terrible. I'd be willing to bet money that there wasn't a complaint levied against him. Or if there was, it was an old complaint that they just brought back up because it served their purpose. He expressed concerns to the Chronicle that officials were going to twist things to try and justify retaliation or trying to appease the staff, or they're tired of me being a whistleblower, or all of the above. I can say unequivocally that we do not place employees on leave for retaliatory purposes, nor have we ever attempted to limit any employee's free speech rights, Baisley told Fox News Digital. The leave was not in response to any of his contacts with the news media. Okay. Right. Okay. Well, that's the story. So this dude's getting railroaded. They tried to put him through a Marxist struggle session. And you know what? Like, thinking about it, he didn't give in. He didn't apologize. He didn't back down, and they kicked him out. So, that's what the woke does. They try to put you through a struggle session to get you to fall back in line, and if it doesn't work, they ruin you. Like, that's just how it goes with them. They ruin you. Man, unreal. Doreen Douglas, come to the Silicon Valley Liberty Forum meeting in Mountain View tomorrow. Set up a table. What the heck? I didn't know there was having one. Can you DM me? Yeah. Actually, I think I'm open too. Let me see. Sorry, no. If I get invited to something, I got to check like right then and there. Tuesday the 13th? Yeah, I can do it. Yeah, I can do it. Doreen, if you're still watching, can you send me a DM about that? Give me some more info. Okay, let's see. Terry Wallace, I'm a teacher, and none of this gets talked about at school. Not the students, not the teachers. We teach, give homework, assign tests, projects, and nobody acts crazy. The kids talk about junk, not politics. Terry, can you elaborate on that a little more? Like, a teacher, you're a teacher, and none of this gets talked about at school. Not the students, not the teachers. We teach. Are you saying that this is just like all of this stuff shouldn't even be brought? Well, I mean, they hired an organization that calls themselves Woke Kindergarten. Like, just this should give you an idea of where this school district is at. This is also Berkeley. This is like arguably the wokest place on earth. Berkeley. You guys ever been to Berkeley? I mean, you just drive in there and it smells like patchouli oil and weed. It's just, have you guys been to Berkeley? Anyway. All right. Well, so we'll continue in this vein because this is put out from James Lindsay. And this is this ideology that's in the classroom. They are so convinced that they are right. And they believe in this idea that they're not actually, that their students, the students that they're teaching, they're not actually your children. They believe these are society's children. They really believe this. And they believe they're right about all of this. Oh, there's another clip I wish I would have pulled up. Kind of a longer one because this lady is a psychopath. And I'm actually going to try to find it while I'm playing this. No, it's only 22 seconds long. I'll try to find it after. But to give you an idea of how these people think, just listen to the words coming out of this woman's mouth. Listen to the matter-of-fact way she says it, too. just how there's no argument on this fact. This is just the reality. This is the way things are. Just listen to what this woman says. Collective notion, collectivism, Marxism. I'm sorry, what? What did you just say? I'm not even a parent. I am offended right now. Kids belong to their parents, lady. What are you talking about, you psychopath? Huh? She's triggering me. Oh, God. These people are nutbags. They are freaking psychopaths. Sorry. What are we doing here? Okay. All right, Doreen. Hopefully you DM'd me that. I will, I will look into it in a little bit here. All right. You know what? Let me see if I could actually find that other, the video of the lady talking that I forgot that I had this saved. I hope, you know what? I might not even bookmarked it. I don't think I did. Damn it. Let's see. I hope I did. There's another lady talking about oh, you know what? No, I think I do. I think I know where I have it bookmarked. Let's see. Hopefully I still have it. No, I think I lost it. Damn it. Okay. No, I lost it. It was another lady explaining. She was talking about pushing trans ideology on kids and keeping it from their parents because their parents wouldn't understand. She's talking about transing students and talking to them about all sorts of highly inappropriate things. Anyway, what this is doing as well is it's pushing people in the other direction too. It's making parents probably concerned when they don't need to be concerned. Like, I'm trying to figure out the best way I even want to explain this, but here, let's give an example. Like, when I was in 6th grade, I had a gay teacher named Mr. Stevens. Everyone knew he was gay. All the kids knew he was gay. My mom knew he was gay, but all the parents loved him. You could tell he was gay just by the way he carried himself, the way he talked. But he never once talked to us about anything sexual. He didn't even talk. He never brought up his partner. He never talked about any of that stuff. And even if he would have said, like, you know, this weekend I went to the park with my husband or something like that, you know, like, even that parents would have a problem with. And where before all of this ideology was being pushed on people, I don't know if parents would have had a problem with it. My point is, it's making parents much more suspicious of teachers when teachers probably don't have any sort of ulterior motive. You know, just because a teacher is gay doesn't mean they're trying to push some sort of radical agenda. You know, there's plenty of gay teachers that are actually against all of this stuff. They're like, whoa, we're supposed to be teaching them reading, writing, arithmetic, and how to think, not what to think. Plenty of gay people think this and aren't happy with all the stuff that's going on right here. And what this is doing, it's actually doing a disservice to gay people. It's making people look at people that are doing nothing wrong, that have no bad intent behind anything that they're doing, and is making them be looked at hypercritically. And it's more of that wedge that's being driven into society. It's just more of the, like, we reached a point, it seems like in the 90s, where, you know, there was never, the world was never completely free of racism, or our country was never completely free of racism or completely free of sexism or homophobia or whatever. But we did, I think, reach like a golden age where it was just completely minimalized and talked about Like, you remember the Morgan Freeman thing where he was interviewed about how do we get rid of racism? They're asking him about Black History Month. And he was like, oh, well, I don't want a Black History Month. And the guy's like, well, why? Why don't you want a Black History Month? And he was like, well, you're a Jew, right? And he was like, yeah. And he was like, do you want a Jewish History Month? And he was like, no. And he's like, well, why not? And he was like, well, how do we end racism? And Morgan Freeman was like, well, stop talking about it. Stop talking about it so damn much. Let's just go about our business and do our stuff that we do. Doesn't matter if you're white, I'm black. Like, let's just do our thing. Let's work together and talk about things we enjoy. Like, that, to me, that time period when Morgan Freeman made that statement, whatever date that was like the highlight of American civilization in terms of society getting along with one another. And it's been nothing but splitting further and further apart since that moment. And all of this contributes to it. All of this woke ideology that's being driven down everybody's throats, it all contributes to it. This is doing a disservice to their own community that they think that they're advocating for so much. They're doing a disservice to this community. All right. I think that's it. I think that's it for that one. All right, let's see. Let's check in with the chat. Sendam. Yes, I see you. You're not playing it. I don't know what that means. I didn't play the video. Oh man, I'm stupid. Well, I think I played the video. Okay, well, let me play it again. Play it again really quick. It's only 20 seconds.
We have never invested as much in public education as we should have because we've always had kind of a private notion of children. Your kid is yours and totally your responsibility. We haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole community. We have.
Okay. Did you see it that time? Hopefully I played it that time. I hate that my ex-wife allowed our daughter to believe she is a he. Oh, crap. She did? Man. Yeah. See, what the hell? This is happening to a lot of people. Actually, one of the things that I had pulled up was how this is one of the things that's happening in California right now is they tried to Gavin Newsom actually vetoed the bill. They tried to make it so judges had to consider a parent's willingness to affirm a child's gender when determining child custody. So if parents either never got married and they were determining child custody, or they had a divorce and they were determining child custody, a judge had to take into account which parent was going to affirm the child's gender. So if a couple got a divorce and the child was considered a trans child, and the father is saying, no, my kid's not a trans child. This is all nonsense coming from the mother. She's a psychopath. And she's driving this into my kid's brain. My kid's not trans. He's a boy. It's like, I don't want my kid to take puberty blockers. Just like, nope, custody goes to the mom. You're not affirming the child's gender. That's a bill that was trying to be passed in California. And Gavin Newsom put the kibosh on it and said no. And a lot of people thought, oh, well, he's actually kind of trying to come back to the middle. No, his justification for saying why he vetoed that bill was saying, well, judges already have to take that into account. That's already part of the deal. So this bill was just, a redundancy. So we don't need it anyway. So this is already taking place in California. Judges are using as if this is what's so maddening to me. Is gender dysphoria in the Diagnostical Statistical Manual of Mental Health Disorders, edition 5, is listed as a mental health disorder, gender dysphoria. At the same time, like clinical psychologists are psychological disorder. At the same time, judges are like, yeah, your kid with a psychological disorder, you must tell that child your psychological disorder is accurate. Give your child irreversible drugs that'll do irreversible things to your child. Talk about mastectomies and all this stuff. And we'll take your kid away if you speak out against that. Like, that's where we're at. This is madness, psychotic overreach of the state. So it's unbelievable. Unfreaking believable. Okay, so enough of the gender ideology stuff for the night. I think I do have something else that I want to talk about, though. So let's get into it. Yeah, this stuff gets me so worked up. So freaking annoying. All right, let's go over here. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to do a hard segue and we're going to talk about Ukraine because, well, Ukraine, funding for Ukraine, propaganda, how our government hates you, all that kind of stuff. So, we're going to look at a quick Joe Rogan clip really fast here. So, this is from Concerned Citizen. Sorry, I get so worked up, you guys. Can't help it. It's been 2 weeks. Just had to get it all out, you know. All right, let's go over to Concerned Citizen here. Okay, this is a Joe Rogan clip, and talking about 2014 Maidan coup and just the control of the narrative.
There's basically been a media blackout over the Pentagon files. It's being called the biggest U.S. government leak since Snowden. This happened in like the last couple weeks, and Fox News even made a statement: "We're not gonna cover this. We're not gonna show the documents because like serious blueprints for Ukraine were leaked." And
Yes.
did you hear about these?
Yes.
So
Explain that to people.
I'm definitely not an expert on this.
It
But
seems like a blueprint for setting up this war.
yes, and a very sensitive document. I mean, John Kirby, he's like Biden's spokesperson. He's the guy who lied about the Nord Stream, in the press room.
Mm-hmm.
And he came out and said he specifically told media, don't cover this leak.
Don't cover the
Blunder.
truth, guys. You're with us.
But there's basically been a media blackout.
Are you guys following this? Are you seeing what he's saying there? He's basically saying that this whole thing has been manufactured from the get-go. We'll keep going. While you guys were watching sports ball yesterday, do you know what they passed and what was happening? I'm not sure if you guys are aware, but while sports ball was taking place yesterday, this is from Vivek Ramaswamy. He says the Senate voted today to advance a $95 billion boondoggle, most of which goes to America's favorite state, Ukraine. Many Republicans are going along like puppets. There's something deeper going on here. Okay. Let's go over to this political article, shall we? Sorry. Okay. Casey Martin, nothing is stopping the pro-Ukraine crowd from getting on a plane, strapping up the fighting. Yeah, no kidding. I personally know an old Army colleague who went over there as a medic. Interesting. Yeah, a lot of people went over there in the beginning and tried to act like they were doing stuff, didn't they? I think a lot of people had their reality shattered a little bit when they went over there. Damn it. Sorry. Okay. I'm not even sure. Okay, I'm sharing that. Sorry. It's been so long. I'm rusty. I'm a rusty podcaster right now. Bring that back up. My apologies. Okay, let's go to this Politico article. Okay, so GOP senators defy Trump by advancing foreign aid bill. Donald Trump spent the weekend telling senators they should not pass more unconditional U.S. foreign aid. More than a dozen Republicans ignored him Sunday, moving forward on a bill to send $95 billion in aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. Nothing for Americans. It's really frustrating, you guys. People are struggling really hard right now. Really hard. I personally am struggling a lot. Screw me. Put me aside. Like, I don't care. There's people that, like, good people that are going to lose families. They're going to lose their houses. People aren't making enough to get by right now. Things are too expensive. There's not enough money coming in. Sorry. They're giving money to Taiwan, Ukraine, Israel, and they are putting illegal immigrants up in hotels and giving them 3 meals a day and EBT cards. It's so frustrating. The Senate voted 67-27 to advance a foreign aid supplemental spending bill that doesn't include border provisions. We don't need a bill for the border. Sorry, I talked about that all last episode. I won't get into that. Moving it another step closer to passage, that still isn't guaranteed as leaders haven't yet reached an agreement on GOP-demanded border amendments. The package faces some resistance from Republicans who say they won't back further aid to Ukraine unless it's amended to include border policy changes. Why are these things in the same bill? First of all, we don't need a bill for the border to shore up the border, but let's pretend we did. Why is there anything about Ukraine in a border package? This is the thing that's so frustrating that these politicians do. It's like, well, if I'm going to vote on your bill, you got to squeeze this thing. Every bill should be a single issue, not these they call them, the omnibus bills that has a million different things. That's not a bill. That's just it's a tit for tat. You give me this, I'll give you that, and by the end, it's a hodgepodge of tons of money going to places that don't benefit Americans. It never ends up helping Americans. The package faces some serious resistance from Republicans. Okay, wait, did I already read this? Okay, no, I didn't. The package faces some resistance from Republicans who say they won't back further aid to Ukraine unless it's amended to include border policy changes. Okay, no, I did read that. From this point forward, you are listening to U.S. Senate. Trump wrote on True Social, no money in the form of foreign aid should be given to any country unless it's done as a loan, not just a giveaway. That's, yeah, I agree with that. Okay. Trump had helped tank the bipartisan border foreign aid bill, calling for Republicans to block the legislation as well. This time, many GOP senators didn't seem concerned with his opposition. Okay, so I mean, that's enough. It's enough of that bill, or enough of that article. I think you guys get the point. Okay, so now I want to go over to this thing from J.D. Vance. Okay, so J.D. Vance he found something buried in this bill. So J.D. Vance puts this out today. This new Ukraine bill tries to make it illegal for Trump to do what he is promising on the campaign trail. It is a plot against President Trump, plain and simple. So let's see what he's getting at here. Pull up a screenshot of what he wrote up here. So, all right, this is just his quick screenshot. But of course, they have an insurance plan even if Trump pulls it off. Though few have noticed, buried in the bill's text is a kill switch for the next Trump presidency. The legislation explicitly requires funding of Ukraine well into the next presidential term. The Washington Post has already reported this provision was added to control Donald Trump. It gets worse. Back in 2019, Democrats articulated a novel theory of impeachment based on Trump's refusal to spend money from the USAI, Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative, 5 years after impeaching Trump for refusing to spend money on Ukraine. They have drafted a new law that again requires Trump to spend money on Ukraine. If he negotiates an end to the war, as he has promised to do, they will undoubtedly argue that he has broken the law. We are nearly a year away from an election that could give Trump the presidency, and Ukraine-obsessed Republicans have already given the Democrats a predicate to impeach him. Slava Ukraini, American be damned. That's a good write-up. That was well written. Okay, I haven't watched this yet. We're gonna watch Tucker episode 74. It's only 7 minutes long, so we're gonna watch this together. Pause it and react. Yeah. So this is him interviewing J.D. Vance, the guy that we just read right here. So that's why we're gonna watch this. Let's check the chat really quick before we watch this video. Okay, I think we're good. I guess we're good with the chat. You guys are quiet right now. All right, let's see. Okay, let's watch this quick. This is Tucker episode, what was it, 78? 74. Tucker episode 74 with J.D. Vance.
It became very clear to anyone paying attention several months ago that Ukraine cannot win its war against Russia. The Ukrainian military will not be able, even with Western backing, hundreds of billions of dollars of it, to expel the Russian military from parts of eastern Ukraine. Ukraine doesn't have the industrial capacity, neither does NATO or the United States. And it doesn't have the people. Russia has 100 million more in population than Ukraine does. And that means that further support from the West for the Ukrainian military only means more dead Ukrainians and a further degraded Western economy in the US and in Germany, particularly. So it's not simply a fool's errand, it's self-destruction. It's insane, it's cruel, it's abetting the killing of an entire generation of Ukrainians. This is very obvious. No honest person at this point will deny it. And yet somehow the United States Senate, which is always several years behind reality in its perceptions, just a few weeks ago, decided to send another $60 billion to the Ukrainian government, which is both corrupt and authoritarian. They've canceled elections, they banned an entire Christian denomination, and then they killed an American journalist for noting any of this.
We haven't even talked about that. So, I mean, I can't remember his name, but he put out a video knowing he was about to get captured, and he said, yeah, they're probably going to kill me. And they killed him.
And yet, the United States Senate proposed under Mitch McConnell a plan to send another $60 billion to Ukraine. Well, imagine the surprise of all rational people around the world to wake up this morning and discover this could actually happen. And so with that in mind, we thought it'd be worth talking to one of the very few Republican senators who's bothered to make the counter case. And that would be J.D. Vance of Ohio, who joins us now from the United States. Senator, thanks so much for coming on. If you wouldn't mind telling us where this legislation is right now, what you expect to happen, and what you think should happen.
Yeah, Tucker, so there are two big things that will happen here. So tonight we will clear a major procedural vote, or we won't. So this is really the best opportunity tonight to kill this legislation.
Before he gets into it, so what JD Vance did is he went through the bill personally and read it. He probably used his staffers, hey, let's run through this with a comb and just highlight anything that jumps out on us. Let's look for shenanigans in this bill. That's hard to do. The way they write these bills, using lots of legal jargon. If you're not a lawyer, it's a lot of work. It's tons of reading, tons of pages, and you have to be really focused while you're doing it. Well, that's the really important stuff for these policymakers to do for us. Like, that's how they protect us. When they find things like this, that gives them a kill switch. It gives them an out to impeach Trump. This could have just slipped right on by if JD Vance didn't find it. So this is, if I get in, this is something that I am going to be 100% dedicated to doing. I'm going to work so many freaking hours. I'm going to sit in my office. Every single thing that they try to jam through, I'm going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I hope I have people that I can hire to help me, but if I don't, I will do every last bit of reading myself. Hopefully I don't miss too much, because don't want to be too self-deprecating, but I am kind of dumb. I'm not a lawyer, so I won't. Anyway, it's really important to go through all these bills and point out the shenanigans that they're trying to push through. And JD Vance found something here. So kudos to him to bringing it to America's attention, because we wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for him, right?
Encourage everybody to do everything that they can, contact everyone they can to ensure that we actually do kill the legislation. It is very close. The Democrats have banded together with 17 Republicans. We only need 8 of those Republicans to flip their vote to kill this thing. And I think that we'll get at least one who will, in fact, flip their vote. So that's where it sits in the Senate. The second thing, and frankly, the best opportunity we have to kill this, is in the House. And that's part of what I'm trying to do, is notify people about how bad this legislation is, so that after it clears the Senate, if it does, then it goes to the House, and the House has a real opportunity to at least make it better, but hopefully kill it. And I want to say just a couple of things here, Tucker, that are extremely important to know about this legislation. Number one is that it sends $61 billion to Ukraine to fund, as you said, a hopeless war in Eastern Europe that will decimate the Ukrainian population even more than it's already been decimated. So it's a terrible, terrible piece of legislation on the policy. The second thing I want to say, Tucker, though, is that it doesn't just fund Ukraine in 2020.
So everyone should be clear by now that this is just war for the sake of war. Ukraine isn't going to win this war. That should be very obvious to everyone. They never were. They never had a chance. All this ever was a money laundering operation.
24. And this is the most important point. It actually funds Ukraine in 25 and 26. Now, what's the problem with that? Say, for example, that we have a new president in 2025. That president would be handcuffed by the promises that we are making in law to Ukraine today. If you go back to 2019, Tucker, to try to give you a sense of why this matters. In 2019, the U.S. House impeached then President Donald Trump on the theory that they had appropriated money to Ukraine and Donald Trump refused to send it to Ukraine. So if Trump is elected president again and become president on January of 2025, he will conduct diplomacy. And if that diplomacy does not include sending additional billions to Ukraine, there is a theoretical argument, a predicate, if you will, for impeaching Donald Trump because they have tried to tie his hands. And the final point I'll make on this, Tucker, is that the Washington Post has already said, based on leaks from inside the intel community, the purpose of this legislation is to tie a future President Trump's hands. We're not just sending billions to Ukraine in 2024. We're trying to make it impossible for the next president to conduct diplomacy on his terms. It's anti-democratic, and it will lead to endless war all over the world.
So the political calculation behind this seems incredibly dark. So does the humanitarian effect. I noticed that no one on Capitol Hill seems interested in finding out how many have died in this war. Reliable estimates in the area, these are not partisan, are that about 400,000 Ukrainians have died. That's about as many Americans as died in the entire Second World War over the entire duration. And it's, of course, a much smaller country. So how do senators, Republican senators,
400,000 Ukrainian men,
get away with saying we're doing this on behalf of the Ukrainian people, on behalf of democracy, when it's destroying an entire generation and it's not a democracy? Like, what's the thinking here?
Well, Tucker, they bought into the propaganda that what is in the best interest of Ukraine is to prolong this war. And so Zelensky comes to Washington. You know, he's tougher than a lot of them are. And I think they get, a little bit of excitement from that. And Zelensky tells them a story that his war is in the best interest of the whole of Ukraine. Now, never mind that there are people within Ukraine protesting the draft. Never mind that the average age of a soldier there is pushing 45 years old. And never mind that the 650,000 wealthiest Ukrainians left the country at the beginning of the war. They didn't stay and fight. So the idea that this is unanimously supported by the Ukrainian population is, of course, preposterous and absurd. No one believes it. But here's the really crazy, and I think ultimately the very cynical thing that's going on, Tucker, is that everyone knows that this war will lead to the destruction of Ukraine. I've had conversations with Democratic colleagues where they get this sort of dark look in their eyes, and they say effectively that they want to fight Russia to the last Ukrainian drop of blood. I think if you really ask these guys, they recognize that this is not in the best interest of Ukraine. This is fundamentally in the interests of military contractors and people who think that America's most pressing challenge is to defeat the Russians. Of course, that's not a preoccupation that I share. I don't think Russia should have invaded, Tucker, but I also think that we got to be much more focused on more pressing problems like the demographic collapse of the United States, like the open borders, and like what's going on in East Asia. So it's a massive campaign, Tucker, to distract people from the real problems in the world and the real problems that exist in this country.
And underlying it all, as you just said, is an impulse that's indefensible and I think deeply immoral. So I'm so grateful for you having the courage to talk about this in public, and I hope common sense in your position prevails. Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio, thank you.
It's like it's like they know everything's going to collapse, and they're just trying to get every last bit of value out of the dollar that they can before it is no longer the world reserve currency. That's just me being tinfoil speculator, but that's what it seems like to me. Let's see. Missy. Let's see. Crazy. Who confirms this? If I was a young person in the Ukraine, we haven't seen any protests. Kind of weird. Let me say that over. If I was a mother, I'd be out here screaming. 400,000 Ukrainian men. So, what's this money for? by the way. Like, are they even saying? They don't even say what it's for anymore. Remember, they used to say, well, like, this money is for tanks and jets or whatever they were sending over there. Now they're just, we're just sending them, 900 billion or whatever it is now. They don't even try to hide their corruption anymore. Whatever. What are you going to do? What can you do? All right, folks. I think that is all I got for the night. You know how we do it. Before we get out of here, we got to tell a joke from the greatest book ever written, The Truth About Chuck Norris. But thank all you guys for hanging out tonight. Casey Martin, Goat Cheese, Pure American, Terry Wallace, V1800, Missy, Sendam. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Sendam, Doreen, B. Sizzo, all you guys. Radio Foreman, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Appreciate all you guys. I will be back tomorrow. I might have my buddy Eric Abinante with me. I'm not sure. We spoke for like an hour on the phone earlier. So, I like streaming with Eric because I could just talk to him. Like, we don't need any sort of script. I could just talk to Eric. He's just a good dude. All right. Hopefully I'll be back here tomorrow with Eric and we'll be talking about stuff. And I hope everybody's having a fantastic Monday. Let's talk about Chuck Norris. All right. What do we got for the evening tonight? Let's see. All right. You guys ready for the Chuck Norris joke of the evening? Okay. All right. Here we go. Chuck Norris joke of the evening. Only Wonder Woman has a uterus capable of bearing Chuck Norris's children. And on that note, stay CaliBased.